2020, we launched our first edition of the Belgian streaming monitor. Little did we know that we were going to land in the midst of COVID. That was going to be an accelerator. Now, we're on the 7th edition now, since the beginning of this year. And every edition, we're doing a certain deep dive to better understand one or other topic related to streaming television. And the question that we had is connected television really the new gold for Belgian broadcasters? Now, when we started in 2020, the reach of streaming overall, so the SVOD was around 54%. Then we had, because we did 2 editions at that moment, we had COVID. We were all at home. People who have children know that a television set can save your life. And so it happened. We had a booming, in fact, of the subscriptions. And then there were some turbulent years, because after COVID, we had some other crises. We thought we were out of one crisis, and then we went into an energy crisis, financial crisis, whatever. And so there was a lot of turbulence on that market. And finally, in fact, we always try to do a sort of prediction of how the world is going to turn and how the penetration of, or the subscription percentage will evolve. We're never on the right number. Why? Because there's a lot of dynamics that play. And also here, in fact, when you see in March 25, we see again that the penetration is lowering, 65%, and it's mostly due to the French-speaking part of the country, where we all know that, I would say, IPTV, and not necessarily the legal part of IPTV, has a lot of traction. So we're asking ourselves, is there a plateau already that has been reached or not? When you compare this with, for example, the States has around 65%, 67% in 2019, and now is plateauing at 85. The number of different subscriptions are around 4. In Belgium, we are at around 2. And the average price is around $16 per month subscription. And here in Belgium, it's probably around 9. So are we at a plateau? Now, when we look at the different players, it doesn't come to surprise that it's Netflix who is dominating the market. Even if in March 25, they were hit a little bit and they fell down at 47%. Now, interesting was that the number 2 place was taken over by Amazon due to recruitment in the north, because in the south it already worked rather well, and they surpassed Disney, who finally got the 3rd spot. Streams, we have to take care, if we look at streams, we are just analyzing where the region where they can be captated. So it's 18-19% for streams, but going up. And then, in fact, we thought, and that's a little bit the prediction that we made, that when HBO Max was going to come on the market, we estimated around 6% penetration. They finally were at 7%, but they didn't take too much of the potential of streams, on the contrary. So, a domination of Netflix and Amazon Prime that wins ground. Now, we also ask reasons why people have a streaming subscription, and of course, the price and the offer is important, but what we see is that the reason of having a streaming subscription, because it's ad-free, is losing a little bit ground. On the other hand, we also see that local content becomes a little bit more important when choosing a streaming subscription. Now, what we see also when we look at not only SVOD, but also all VOD, I would say, we see that YouTube is dominating the market. It doesn't come to a surprise, I think. Netflix is the only SVOD that is on a 2nd position, but it's mostly the BVODs, in fact, in the broadcasted video on demand that is having the different, is completing the ranking. And they are growing. And together, the interesting part, in fact, is that when we combine all the BVOD together in Belgium, at the total potential, they come very close to YouTube. When you look at last week, it's 34.5, whilst for YouTube it's 45.6. That means that the frequency and the loyalty on YouTube is higher, but on the total potential of all BVODs together, in fact, they are winning ground, gaining ground, I think, and they are able to compete with YouTube, which also, I think, is the objective of having a strong market with a lot of innovation and where they're trying with premium content and local content to compete with the monster that is called YouTube. Now, what we did specifically this edition is trying to understand the penetration of smart TV, connected TV, and cordless, which on itself is a challenge somewhere, because if you ask people if they have a smart TV or if they have a connected TV, people don't understand it. So what we did specifically here is we asked people for the smart TV and the connected TV is to check on their television set what kind of apps and if they can see apps on their television screen. Now, the smart TV is enabled directly to the internet because it's a smart TV. The connected TV is the normal TV set where you put devices like a Chromecast, in fact, to make it smart. So it's 74% in Belgium. The cordless part, we hear a lot about cord cutting in the US, which is a totally different market. When we see it here in Belgium, the cordless is, it depends a little bit on how you count, it's 19%, meaning 11% in fact that have cut the cord, 8% that never had a cord, because there's also a segment of younger people who don't even pay anymore to have, or who have a cordless, life now. We also see what we call, in fact, the silent subscribers. There are 5% of people who say that they don't use it, in fact, but they have it in the household. Now, when we say, is there an opportunity for the local players on the connected TV part, and there, in fact, what you see there is that when we compare the daily reach of YouTube compared to the sum of total BVOD, in fact, it's the BVOD that wins the game. So it's 16% of daily reach for BVOD compared to YouTube 14%, which is totally different because it's also normal that the local broadcasters who have a television legacy and who were on the big screen are also, of course, now also more popular on that big screen, but via connected TV. On the weekly reach, we have around 35% on BVOD, 28% on YouTube, and for the total reach, it's 44% compared to 38%. When you look at the figure in blue, it's in fact the total of both, so that means that, for example, for the daily reach, there's 5% duplication, but the sum of both gives finally 25. Number of days per week, it's 2.6 for YouTube and 2.5 for BVOD, again, because there's higher frequency and higher loyalty. And the number of minutes that we have investigated, in fact, on BVOD on CTV is 113 minutes per session, per times viewed, and for YouTube, it's 102. So that's our research. I tried to go a little bit faster to win some time, so back to the following. Thank you.